I've just seen this interview with Poilevre done by Ben Mulroney, and yeah, this is from the 6:40 a.m. sort of radio show podcast sort of thing. Except for he also puts it on YouTube. Well, he put this on YouTube, and it's a really good interview. But I just want to get to a point in this interview. Poilievre goes through all his usual things about axe attacks, save the addiction thing, and crime, and he does all of that. We've heard all them talking points, but a really interesting thing that he comes onto is where he's talking again about the carbon tax and about how Carney is hiding it and not fully dismissing it. Just have a listen, guys. First of all, we're going to listen to what he said about Carney and the carbon tax, and then the second part of it we'll go on to, which is what's really bothering me is the age of the people supporting Mark Carney. Now, yeah, let's get on with the first bit.
I have talked to a number of people where I said, "Hey, why?" With Mark Carney, he's had some long-held beliefs, say, on climate change, and only to turn around and reduce the carbon tax to zero. I said, "What does that say to you about his values?" And they say, "No, that's not a problem. We view that as pragmatism." And I have a tough time pushing back on that. If that's how they see it, that's how they see it. How do you see it?
Well, what if pragmatism means that he raises the carbon tax back up after the election?
Exactly.
I mean, his criticism of the carbon tax up until about a year ago was that it was not high enough. And he has gone on to say that he wants to keep the industrial carbon tax, which will drive our steel, aluminum, fertilizer, cement, concrete production south of the border where there is no carbon tax. You don't think that that tax is going to be passed on to you in a higher cost for a car? Steel goes in cars. You don't think it will cost more to rent an apartment when all of the concrete in those apartments is taxed at a higher level? And what about the people who work in those jobs? They won't be able to keep them. You know, this is an area where Mr. Trump and Mr. Carney agree. Trump, they both want to tax Canadian industry. Carney with a carbon tax, Trump with tariffs. I want neither.
Yeah.
I will axe the entire carbon tax for everything, for everybody, for real,
Good.
for good, and for a change.
Steel, it's in everything. It's in everything. The absolute lunatic Carney was saying, "Oh, when was the last time you ever used steel?" Yeah, every single day when you walk into your house, when you drive your car, when you get on the train, when you fly in a plane, when you pump your gas, when you turn on your heating, everything is steel. Anyway, let's go on to to another little bit that's slightly concerning.
We got to talk about this generational chasm that seems to exist right now.
Strange
polling
one.
is to be believed, then older voters support Mark Carney, and they think that the ballot box issue that trumps everything else is the president. How do you break through to them?
It would be nice for the younger generation to get ahead like I got ahead when I was younger. Even if that means I have to take a little bit of a hit on my house. At least the youth of today can get on the housing wagon and can do something, can actually get ahead in life.
Well, a couple of things. First, I would say look at the lives that your kids are living. My parents were able to afford a home on a teacher's salary.
Exactly.
This generation, our generation now, here in Toronto, it takes 29 years to save up for a down payment after the lost Liberal decade doubled the costs. Think about the crime and the chaos that's overtaking our streets after the lost Liberal decade. Think about the rising food prices that you're paying after 3 consecutive Liberal terms. We need a change in this country. And as for Donald Trump, Mark Carney wants to continue with the same Liberal policies that gave us the worst growth in the G7, that pushed $500 billion of our investment south of the border, that gave our resources to Trump on a discount. If you want to reverse that, then we need a change with a new conservative government that will put Canada first, to unleash our resource production. We have to take back our streets by locking up the criminals. We have to cut taxes so that our seniors can keep more of their pensions and retirement income. That's what it means to put Canada first, and that's my pitch to older voters, wiser voters.
I can't go on to Twitter, Pierre, and say anything about this election without an army of people coming at me, attacking you for security clearance issues. Can I get you on the record so I don't have to do it anymore? Like, explain once and for all the
This will be
situation
good.
with your
I didn't see
security
this
clearance.
bit.
Well, first of all, I've already had the clearance. I was a minister in the cabinet, so I've already been cleared. Secondly, what the Liberals have been trying to get me to do is sign an oath of secrecy so that I can't speak publicly about foreign interference without their permission, to get locked in to an oath of confidentiality, so that when an issue of foreign interference comes up, I have to risk criminal prosecution if I say something the government considers that it has briefed me on, even if I might have said it anyway. And the other day, example, I had to speak out because a Liberal candidate had said that he wanted to turn over a Conservative candidate on a bounty to the Chinese embassy, which would then send him back to China and potentially imprison or kill him.
Well, the good thing about that is that because he didn't have his security clearance and wasn't sworn to secrecy, Poilevre was allowed to actually speak out about that. And what's actually, I don't know how old this interview, I think it's only yesterday or today, being Wednesday night, Thursday, Chang actually resigned. He resigned, even though Carney said that, yeah, it's fine. It's just one of those things. It's fine for that guy to stay on. But it really wasn't fine because eventually he resigned, didn't he? And that shows you how naive Carney is at the top. It's all about the dollar signs, from what I can see from our current or shortest ever PM in the history of Canada.
And I talked about how Mr. Carney, for example, took a $250 million loan from the Chinese government for his company just
What did I
6
just
months
say?
ago. Would that kind of comment have been captured by the confidentiality rules that go around getting these security clearance briefings? It might be, but the reality is I will get the briefings I need when I'm Prime Minister to protect our country against foreign interference, but I will not be silenced or gagged in the meantime.
Good. Exactly. That's exactly how it should be explained, and how some of these lunatic far left wingers who keep coming up on Twitter and Facebook and everything start talking about him not getting security clearance and, oh, I don't feel safe because Poilievre's not got his security clearance. Yeah, it's just explained why he can't have it, why he doesn't want it, why it would just restrict everything that he does. Anyway, I'm going to finish it off there. Just so you know, tonight I should be, if it all works out, it looks like it's going to be windy, but I'm going to try and do a live stream from the Poilevre rally in Oshawa. That's on the east side of Toronto. It's about an hour from Toronto on the east side, and it's where the GM Motors plant is. So we should have a lot of union people there, and I'm expecting the venue they've got is a massive venue apparently, and we're expecting a lot of people to go there. So fingers crossed, I might be able to throw out some. It won't be anything special. I'm not going to film inside. I'm not going to film the speech. I'm just going to film. I'm going to film the lineup and get a feeling of what the atmosphere is in there for you guys. And you can watch the speech on CPAC or on even CBC maybe, but CPAC they will have the speech, and it'll be much better volume, much better than mine. I'll just show you the atmosphere leading up to the rally, and hopefully I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.